How are you?
Good.
Good. Great job. Wendy, have we ever in the past modified the growth policy? To my memory that we did it when the snow lot was a parking lot?
Yep, we changed the snow lot. We amended the growth policy for that project out on Edgewood in Second. A little section that was going to be apartments, which I'm not sure.
So there is precedent in modifying, amending the growth
definitely.
policy. Okay, thank you. Am I correct if I look at the blueprint of the proposed subdivision, I see a big chunk of green. Is that those 10 acres? So this developer is proposing 1/3 of their property, more or less, out of 34 acres, to be park.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. And the trail tries to comply with the Connect Whitefish plan?
Right.
Okay. Is that correct? This is not a PUD. This
Correct.
is okay.
This is not a PUD.
So when we do the PUDs, we're wondering about the benefits to the community.
Correct.
And we sometimes ask for affordable housing or cash in lieu. Are those questions applicable to this matter?
No.
They're not, because from me watching the Community Development Board, it looked as if some of the reasons for denial were the lack of affordable housing being offered. Is it correct interpretation?
Yeah, I would
Thank
agree
you.
with that.
Let's look at the zoning. The developer heard a denial to approve from the Community Board on March 21st, and they proceed to annex in April 1st. By default, they are zoned, and I'm stating, but it's a question to confirm, WR2 and I2. The two.
R2, yeah, just R3, sorry. R3 and I2.
Oh, that's the proposing zoning, sorry. Where the WR2 is, the existing zoning is I2.
Correct.
Okay, so if we did nothing, am I correct that someone could go there and build a factory up to 60 feet height?
That's what the county zoning
Okay.
is, but we can't implement the county zoning. So we
Okay.
need to come back before you and with a rezone, just like an annexation rezone.
Okay, but right now that's all we have, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. East-west connectivity. So we have a long-term transportation plan, and one of the tenets of that plan is to improve east-west connectivity within town. Now, I agree, the east side of 18th is a little narrow. The west end is private road. At the same time, we have a chance where development will provide a major connector part between east and west. And finally, to summarize, I watched the meeting here, and you corrected me. The first motion was for growth policy amendment. It was proposed denial 4-2.
Right.
If I look at the minutes, and that's a question, can I ask a question to Angie, please? Angie, I had the perception that at least one of the board members had a prepared statement ahead of time and might have had a pre-decision made. Is that normal for a community board quasi-judicial hearing? Or is it proper?
We tend to discourage that simply because within quasi-judicial, we want every board member to listen to the public testimony, listen to what the applicant has to say, and then make a decision. So we try to discourage or board members being pre-decisional, or at least the appearance of being pre-decisional. Let me put
I
it that way.
appreciate that. Thank you. No further question, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Would entertain three separate motions. We'll start first with the growth policy amendment to the future land use designation. Let's start there.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Whitefish Growth Policy Amendment 2420, is it? And the original finding of fact as they were recommended initially by the staff.
Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Councilor Quinnell. Further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to talk to this. So to the growth policy, I checked that it's been amended when we felt that it was obsoleted. Case in point, the snow lot, parking lot. The process of the Community Development Board that I normally respect and support. This time it was a 4-2-2, and I call it a mistrial because of how it came to be. I think leaving that area as it is, it's riskier and more potentially damaging to the community with the industrial zone than to move and homogenize that area within the growth policy to the surrounding areas. That's the reason for which I'm in favor.
Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed, like sign, and the motion does carry on a 3-1 vote with Councilor Sweeney voting in opposition. Giuseppe.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve, and I lost track, WPP 24 dash, help me, what?
2.
2, and for the record, the original findings of fact as recommended by the Whitefish City staff.
Further discussion from the council. Giuseppe?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to address a couple of the concerns here. First of all, I would walk that property, but it's not my property. That's a private property, and the rules are in place, and we just change some of them accordingly to what the whole city is doing. Affordability, let's talk about affordability. A developer has to go through putting money aside, buy the land, hiring engineers, go to the staff and work with the staff, and then subject themselves to a public hearing with the Community Development Board, where I invite you all to come and watch. It's very educational. Then they come to City Council, and still City Council can rule differently from where the expectations could have been. And I agree with Frank, no promises were made and no promises are being delivered. Then sometimes they have to hire an arborist. And finally, maybe they get an approval. These are all levels and layers that reduce affordability because they increase cost in the project. Now, let's talk about density. We cannot have it both ways. If we want more houses, we need to accept higher density. I grew up in a place where there were no parking lots reserved for owners of properties. So for all these reasons, and for believing that between the safeguards we're putting in place, the rules that we have legislated upon in the past, and the willingness of this local developer, I'm very honored to vote in favor of this motion. And finally, Kerry, I'm not your watchdog, I'm your servant.
All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Those opposed, like sign, and the motion does carry on a 3-1 vote with Councilor Sweeney voting in opposition. Thanks everyone for